Good evening, Des Moines, Iowa, and the world. Welcome to the Doc and Lefty program, broadcasting to you from the Northside Studios of webcast1live.com, live streaming on docandlefty.com as well. This is Lefty. As always, we're bringing you the perspectives you love from the sides you hate, and across the table with me, he's throwing nuance and caution to the wind. Dr. Petrosh, Doc, what's happening?
I never throw nuance to the right.
Oh, you are allergic
I have none.
You are as allergic to nuance as my dad is to bees, my friend.
There you go. That's how it goes. Or a liberal to common sense. Either way, how have you been?
I have been.
I heard you went out to the Blue Moon. I heard you went somewhere.
No, I'm playing there tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow.
But I had just a bunch of stuff last week and a bunch of stuff this week, and then taking a couple of weeks off because one of these days I'm going to have to sit down and schedule out the rest of my month to actually do my day job because it's been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been tough to get things on the calendar. Yeah,
that must be nice. So anyway, we have a new listener, Ron Jorgensen. I want to say hi to you out there, my man. You're a good man, a good patriot, and I agree. Lefty's just plain crazy. Anyway, I had to get that out of the way.
Sure.
So we have a lot of stuff we can talk about. What are we going to start with first? We're going to start with Hillary dodging the FBI bullet, or
we can absolutely do that if you want.
What do you want to start with?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Well, here I have a couple of questions because I was reading. Now I didn't get to see the testimony, but I was reading the transcripts of the testimony about AG, Assistant AG. Is that who it is? Comey.
No, he's the director of the FBI.
Director of the FBI. Good golly. Anyway, the director of the FBI. I read the testimony, and it's fairly extensive. And essentially, he goes through and says the reason the FBI has decided not to prosecute is because the intent of Hillary's emails and what she did. The intent was not to harm anybody. It was just carelessness. And I thought to myself, if I carelessly discharge a weapon and I kill somebody, I'm still responsible. The intent doesn't matter. So I'm looking at this, and a lot of people are blowing up, and I'm looking at this going like, well, my first question is, isn't it the Department of Justice's job to determine if charges are going to be brought or not, or the FBI's? Two, is carelessness versus recklessness versus intent? Are any of those? Can you describe what the differences are between those three things? Because apparently it's a legal issue. Whether you're careless, does that rise to the level of a crime, or whether you're reckless? And what is the defining difference between the two?
Well, first of all, the DOJ is responsible for leveling charges against people who are being investigated, but the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, came out and said that she would follow the recommendation of the FBI, and Director Comey, a Republican who was first appointed to the job by George W. Bush, kept on by Barack Obama. These guys serve 10-year terms, so when the next president is elected, that person won't be able to fire him. And that's for these sorts of reasons, to maintain a certain amount of independence with the FBI. Came out and recommended no charges, so the DOJ is going to follow the recommendation. She said that she would follow the recommendation regardless. If you're taking her at her word, and there's no reason not to, in my opinion, then she would have proceeded with an indictment against Hillary Clinton. The issue, as you pointed out, was that there was no the statutes that they were relying on. And I've gone over them, but I don't think I can quote either one of them off the top of my head. But the main one that seemed to fit what they were investigating is it is a crime for anybody to send or receive classified information with the intention of removing it from where it's supposed to be and storing it in a different area with the intention of misusing it or using it for a purpose that's not allowed. That's what they got Petraeus on, because he took all that stuff from his emails, hid it in like a attic in his house, told that biographer that he was having an affair with all about it, which is not a source that he's supposed to be talking to, and then lied to the FBI when they went and investigated what he had done. And Comey went over that in his testimony, and so they found no evidence through the months of investigation, to the interview with Hillary Clinton just last week or the week before, that she intended to do anything illegal with the information. He just laid into her about about the server business, about how careless was he. I don't think he went so far as to call it reckless. Reckless has a specific federal standard that's more than negligence, but it's less than sort of intentional wrongdoing. And the definitions are legal definitions. Carelessness, I mean, you can just call that maybe sort of like ordinary negligence, and it's if when you don't use ordinary care and something happens.
But let me ask you this question, because I'm sure our readers or listeners are going to want to know. We talk about recklessness and negligence, and then there's a term that's often bandied around called gross negligence. Is there really a difference between negligence and gross negligence?
Gross negligence, it depends on what jurisdiction you're in. It depends on how it's defined. I think gross negligence would be closer to sort of that recklessness standard. Recklessness is closer to knew or should have known. So, or done something with a depraved heart is kind of one of the old ways of defining recklessness. Where even though if you're, for example, if you're driving drunk and you kill somebody, and you say, oh yeah, I drive drunk all the time and I don't care about what happens, and you just display this sort of kind of nonchalance about the risks that you're putting everybody else on the road through, and you kill somebody. That's definitely a higher level of a crime than if you are accidentally if you accidentally discharge your firearm and kill somebody or hurt somebody. And it's a pure and you say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, and you just display no depravity, or it's going to be a lesser charge because recklessness and that sort of thing. Now, the murder statute or the wrongful death statutes in Iowa are a little bit different, but that's sort of like at common law, and some of the federal laws are like that. And this law requires an intent element, that you have to intend to use it for a wrongful purpose, and they found no evidence of intent. And also, after he had that press conference, the State Department came out and said that he was incorrect when he was talking about a certain number of emails being classified, and basically cleared her again of the suggestion that she had lied to them and had been making false statements about her emails. And he corrected his statements at the House testimony, saying, "Hey, look, These emails that we saw were classified, that she said that were there on the server, that she must have known were classified at the time, those were actually there was a human error involved there. We found no inconsistencies in Hillary's statements to us or in the investigation or in her public statements."
So essentially the two statutes that they were relying on that says, geez, you can't be a moron when you're dealing with sensitive state secrets, doesn't really apply, because she never intended to do anything with them. She never intended to hide anything.
Nope.
But she certainly was being careless with what she was doing.
That's what the FBI found. That's what she's come out and said, hey, look, I wouldn't do this again. This is a mistake for me to do this. But it certainly wasn't criminal, and it certainly wasn't indictable. The issue that I think everybody has had, who is a critic of the House of Representatives, the Republican leadership, or not even a supporter of Hillary Clinton, but some people that are more maybe in the middle on this. The problem they've had, if they've had a problem with the House at all, the problem has been, hey, look, everybody, you've already prejudged this person. And because you've prejudged the facts here without waiting for the investigation to be completed, you've been going after her based on what you just know. And that's the thing about Hillary Clinton. Everybody that I've seen who has been critical of the FBI and been critical of the Department of Justice, who's a Hillary basher from way back, comes out and says, God, this is another thing. We just know she did something. We know she did something wrong. We know it. Yeah. And now, because the Republicans, this version of the Republican Party can't seem to just help themselves, can't seem to just not stick their political foots in their mouths, is now going to launch an investigation into the FBI. They're going to investigate the investigators, which is honestly, it's political suicide. It makes them look like petulant children.
All right, we're going to be back right after this break. In the next segment, we're going to continue to carry on about how Hillary Clinton has dodged yet another bullet with political pressure applied by Bill Clinton, and Lefty's head's just spinning around and around over there. So we're going to be back after this break to talk more about the Hillary Clinton email scandal. We want to thank you, the listener, because without you, we couldn't do what we do. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Des Moines Anesthesia at 515-574-6442, Halo Capital at DesMoinesInterestrates.com, Lubinas Law Firm, and, of course, Bertroshan Associates. We'll be back right after